Welcome to the deep dive. It is Sunday, February 1st, 2026. If you're just waking up and checking your phone, you might feel a little overwhelmed. We have a massive amount of ground to cover this morning because yesterday, January 31st, was one of those Saturdays where the NBA scriptwriters, they really went overboard. We are talking double overtime thrillers, scoring explosions that defy logic, and some injury news that is going to ripple through the Western Conference.
It was chaotic. I mean, usually you get one or two headline games on a Saturday. Yesterday felt like every single matchup had a playoff intensity to it. And what's so fascinating is that while we're breaking down these, concrete results from the hardwood, we have this massive cloud of anticipation hanging over today's Sunday.
The tonight tease, we can't ignore it. As big as the games were yesterday, the league's elite are holding their breath for tonight. The All-Star Reserve announcement is dropping on NBC and Peacock.
Which is the perfect narrative bridge. Right. We have the what happened from yesterday, the cold, hard stats, and then the what if for tonight, where we debate who actually belongs in that inner circle of the league.
Let's start with the cold hard stats then. We have to begin in Boston. The Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. I'm calling this one the marathon.
It certainly felt like one. Double overtime.
Celtics 130, Nets 126. It took 58 minutes of basketball to settle this thing.
Looking at this game, you kind of have to separate the result from the process. I mean, the Celtics are the defending champs. The expectation is they defend home court.
Yeah.
But the Nets, they walked into TD Garden, probably the toughest environment in the league, and they did not flinch.
No, they pushed the champs to the absolute brink.
Exactly. For Brooklyn, this is a proof of concept game. Even though they lost, they showed they have the offensive firepower to, trade punches with Boston. But the takeaway for me is actually about the Celtics. In a double overtime game, your legs are gone, your jump shot is short, your decision-making usually just falls off a cliff because of fatigue.
It becomes a mental game at that point.
It does. And Boston's ability to execute in that second overtime to get that 130-126 win, it shows that institutional memory we talk about. They've been in deep waters before. He didn't panic when Brooklyn just wouldn't go away. That resilience is a skill just as much as shooting or dribbling.
It's the difference between a good team and a champion. Now, let's pivot to a game where the individual stats were even louder, but the result was a bit paradoxical. The Pacers hosted the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, this is a strange one.
Final score: Pacers 117, Thunder 114. But if you only looked at the box score, you'd assume OKC won by 20, all because of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
SGA was absolutely unconscious.
He drops 47 points. 47, and they lose.
This is what we call the high-usage paradox. Shai is arguably the best scorer in the world right now. He was getting to his spots, living at the line, hitting step backs. But when one player is that hot, sometimes the supporting cast gets a little cold. They stand around watching the show.
Well, the Pacers seem to take the opposite approach.
They had to. The Pacers looked at Shai and effectively said, okay, you're going to get your 40. We can't stop you. But we are not going to let anyone else beat us. They withstood the barrage.
Withstood is the perfect word there. It felt like Indiana absorbed blow after blow and just stayed standing.
And that says a lot about Indiana's team construction. They don't have that singular force like Shai, but they have a system. They moved the ball, they found the open man, and they won the minutes where Shai sat. It does raise a question about sustainable offense for OKC in the playoffs, but for now, it's just a massive confidence builder for the Pacers.
So despite the loss, OKC is still sitting at the top of the power rankings. Does this loss damage their stock in your eyes at all?
Not really. It's a road loss in a close game against a good team where your MVP candidate scored 47. You just tip your cap and move on. But for Indiana, proving they can absorb that kind of superstar performance and still win, that's the kind of game film coaches love to show in the locker room.
Speaking of games coaches love, let's talk about stabilization. The Houston Rockets came into Saturday in a very bad spot.
A very bad spot. 5-game losing streak.
They were in Detroit to face the Pistons, and this had a trap game written all over it.
Oh, yeah. If you lose to the Pistons after losing 5 in a row, the media noise just becomes deafening. The season can start to slip away.
But they didn't slip. Rockets 111, Pistons 104, and the stabilizer was... who else? Kevin Durant.
This is why you bring him in. When the young guys are gripping the bat a little too tight, KD just goes to work.
He finished with 32 points, but I want to highlight the efficiency here. He was 11 of 19 from the floor.
And that efficiency is so crucial. In a losing streak, players often try to do too much. They force shots. Durant didn't force a thing. 32 points on 19 shots is surgical. He just calmed the entire offense down. He essentially told the team, look, we are not losing tonight.
And he made a little history while doing it. With those buckets, Durant climbed to number 11 on the all-time three-pointers made list.
Stood another notch on the belt for him. He's climbing every list at this point. But I think the Rockets care way more about the W column than the record books right now. They needed to stop the bleeding, and Durant applied the tourniquet.
From a veteran saving the day to a team winning without their savior, let's talk about the Denver Nuggets.
This was, for me, the most impressive result of the night.
They were in Milwaukee to face the Bucks. On paper, this is a heavyweight fight, but Denver was depleted. No Nikola Jokic, a lot of rotation guys out.
You go into Milwaukee against Giannis and all that size without the three-time MVP, you're supposed to lose that game by 15.
Instead, Nuggets 102, Bucks 100. Denver wins by 2.
This tells us something scary about the Nuggets. We know they're elite with Jokic, but this game showed us their floor is incredibly high, too. Julian Strawther leading the way with 20 points. That's depth.
And here's the stat that jumped out to me. This was Denver's 6th straight road win.
That is just absurdly difficult. People don't realize how hard it is to win on the road in the NBA. You have the travel fatigue, the different beds, the hostile crowds. To rattle off 6 in a row and to keep that streak alive in Milwaukee with like a B squad lineup.
It really makes you wonder, if they can do this without him, are they just unequivocally the best team in the league when Jokic returns?
I think you have to make that argument. It suggests their culture is championship grade. It's not just give the ball to the big guy. The system works.
Yeah.
The defense held Milwaukee to 100 points. That's just grit.
We have to shift gears to the less fun part of the job, injuries. We had a pretty significant one in the Suns versus Hawks game.
Yeah, this is the reality check.
The Hawks won 110-103, which is a great win for them, but the story is Devin Booker. He exited in the third quarter with an ankle injury.
And looking at the replay, it was just bad luck. He stepped on Okongwu's foot. There's no prevention for that. It's just the chaos of the game.
He didn't return. We're obviously waiting on the timeline, but what does this do to Phoenix right now?
It puts them in a very precarious position. The West is a meat grinder. The margins between the 4th seed and the 8th seed are usually razor thin. Booker is the engine of that offense. He creates all the spacing. Without him, defenses can shrink the floor.
It changes the whole geometry of how they have to play.
Completely. If he misses, say, 2 weeks, that could be the difference between home court advantage and the play-in tournament. So for Phoenix, holding their breath for the MRI results is the only thing that matters today.
Let's hit a few quick hits from around the league yesterday to round out the picture, because there was a lot of scoring elsewhere.
Oh yeah, the Pelicans and Grizzlies game was basically a track meet.
Pelicans 133, Grizzlies 127.
If you like defense, look away. But this is the modern NBA. Pace and space. New Orleans winning a shootout like that shows they can run with anyone.
Then we had the Cavaliers handling business against the Kings, 123-118.
That's a professional win.
Yeah.
Sacramento can score with anyone. For Cleveland to put up 123 implies their offense is really clicking.
And finally, the Raptors beat the Trailblazers 110-98.
A bit of a throwback score there. Holding a team under 100 points in 2026 is a legitimate achievement. Toronto's defense was the story.
One quick schedule note, if anyone was looking for the Wizards versus Hornets game yesterday, you didn't miss it. It didn't happen.
Winter storm warning.
Rescheduled to noon Eastern today. So Mother Nature remains undefeated.
Indeed.
Before we move on to tonight's preview, we have to mention a moment of history. The Chicago Bulls retired Derrick Rose's #1 jersey at the United Center on Saturday.
It was an emotional scene, and rightfully so. You have to remember, before the injuries, D. Rose was a phenomenon, the youngest MVP in league history. He completely changed how the point guard position was played.
Seeing that jersey go into the rafters, it just felt like closure for that entire era of Bulls basketball.
It did. It's a reminder of how fragile greatness can be, but also how much a player can mean to a city. He was Chicago.
Absolutely. Okay, let's take a breath. That was January 31st, a wild day. But we need to look at the calendar. It is Sunday, February 1st. And while there are games on the slate, the entire basketball world is focused on one broadcast tonight.
The reveal.
Tonight on NBC and Peacock, the All-Star Reserves are being announced.
This is where the real arguments start. We know the starters. That's largely a popularity contest driven by the fan vote. But the reserves, that's where the coaches vote. And coaches, they value different things.
They value winning over highlights, usually.
Exactly. And that creates conflict. You have these trending topics, columns, debating the reserves, and the tension for those bubble players is real.
The bubble is a stressful place to be. We saw a report about 10 players who could be first-time All-Stars in 2026. That suggests we might be seeing a pretty significant turnover in the league's hierarchy.
I think we're due for it. The talent pool is so deep right now that excellent players, I mean, guys averaging 25 points a game, might get left home.
Let's talk about a specific name that illustrates this tension perfectly. Tyrese Maxey.
The Philly guard.
Here's the situation. Maxey has ascended into the top 5 of the Kia MVP ladder. Top 5. Yet he wasn't voted a starter, so he is sweating out the reserve announcement tonight.
It's a bizarre disconnect, isn't it? If you are top 5 for MVP, you are logically one of the 5 best players in the league. You should be a lock.
You would think so.
But because of, the market he plays in or the position, he slides to the reserves. Now, do I think he gets in? Absolutely. The coaches watch the tape. They know he's been one of the most clutch players in the league this season.
Little league game metrics are off the charts.
Right. But until someone actually reads that name off the card, there's that little seed of doubt. And for a young player, that first All-Star nod it's everything. It validates your contract. It changes how you're viewed. It matters.
And if he somehow gets snubbed?
Oh, basketball Twitter will absolutely melt down. It would be malpractice.
While we're looking at the hierarchy of stars, let's look at the future stars.
Yep.
The rookies. There has been a shakeup in the Kia rookie ladder.
A new king of the hill?
Con Whipple has passed Cooper Flagg for the top spot.
This is a fascinating storyline. Cooper Flagg came in with all this generational hype. He was the chosen one. And he's been very good. But Newpel, he's just been undeniable.
The notes describe his impact on the Hornets as creating a hive full of young talent.
It's a great visual. The Hornets are becoming league pass darlings because of that chemistry. Newpel overtaking Flagg isn't just about stats, it's about winning impact. He looks like a 10-year vet out there.
Yeah.
He's making the right reads, the right passes.
So for our listeners watching the games this week, keep an eye on Charlotte. It's not just a rebuild anymore, it's a terrifying young core.
And that ties into the bigger context of where we are in the season. We just finished AWS NBA Rivals Week,
which gave us some incredible matchups, but what does it mean for February?
Rivals Week acted as a filter. We saw a lot of big games, teams over .500 playing other teams over .500. We are starting to see the separation between the contenders and the pretenders.
The sample size is getting large enough now.
Exactly. It's February. You are what your record says you are. So when you watch the games tonight and this week, view them through that lens. The trade deadline is approaching. Teams have to decide right now, are we buying or selling?
The pressure is definitely ramping up. So tonight, we have the games, but we mostly have the debate.
The debate is the sport within the sport. Who got snubbed? Who stole a spot? It's going to fuel the conversation for the entire week.
Let's do a quick reset for everyone before we let them go. Yesterday, Jan 31st, Celtics survived double OT. Shai drops 47, but the Pacers win. KD stabilizes the Rockets. The Nuggets win on the road without Jokic. And we hold our breath for Devin Booker.
A packed Saturday.
And tonight, Feb 1st, the All-Star Reserves. Tyrese Maxey, the rookie ladder, and the fallout from the snubs.
Don't miss it.
Before we sign off, I want to leave the listeners with one final thought. What is the one thing sticking in your brain as we head into tonight?
I'm struck by the contrast we just talked about. On one hand, you have Kevin Durant. He's in year, 19? And he's still efficient, still climbing history lists, still the guy you call to save a season. He is the establishment.
The definition of it.
But then you have Newpel overtaking Cooper Flagg. You have Tyrese Maxey cracking the MVP top 5. We are in this weird, beautiful overlap period.
The crossover era.
Exactly. Are we seeing a changing of the guard? Or are we just seeing the widest talent pool in NBA history? Because right now, the legends aren't leaving, but the kids are kicking the door down. It's not one or the other. It's both at the same time.
And that is a terrifying prospect for defenses, but it's pretty great for us.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, that is a wrap on this deep dive. Make sure you tune into the reveal tonight. We will be watching, debating, and probably arguing about it tomorrow. See you on the court.